Hello everyone and welcome back to another Minecraft update video. It is Snapshot 19w13a and in this one, raids have been rebalanced, Pillagers have had their AI updated, and there is a new status effect available for the player as well. We're going to cover these things as well as other minor tweaks and changes in this snapshot. The first thing I want to show you though is right behind me, and this was a change implemented in Snapshot 19w12b, which I didn't cover on this channel. In fact, if you watched the last Snapshot video, I even showed you a tweet talking about these changes to redstone. The changes are actually to the transparent blocks, and far more of them than glass have been changed, so we're going to come back to that later on in the video and go over some of those changes. Unfortunately, like the tweet I showed you, it doesn't work in the opposite direction. As you can see, the top piece of redstone can be powered, but the signal doesn't go all the way down to the bottom, and in the tweet that we saw, it sort of suggested it would. That would be a really nice feature, but this is cool enough, and we'll come back to those changes later on. The first change that I want to show you, apart from that, is something that it says in the log, but it's kind of hard to show you in action. So if I summon in a villager and ring the bell, the villager is going to run away, and that was actually a perfect example, because the blog says that the villagers will run away and try and go inside of a building. The problem is with my observations that the villagers seem to run for a split second and then change their mind, and sometimes it's hard to get them running at all. So each time I spawn one, you can see that one run for like a split second and then didn't do anything, and that one just stood still, and I'm still ringing the bell, and it's like they changed their mind just a split second after, so maybe this isn't properly implemented yet. Oh, and here's a fascinating change from a previous snapshot. I've got a bow and arrow, and we can actually shoot the bell, and it will ring, it will make a sound, and it will wobble back and forth. Now, if I try and shoot it from this side over here, it's not going to do either of those things, although from that angle right there, we can just about hit it, and that's because we actually hit the front side of the block. So let's do that again and hit this bit here. You see, nothing happens. You've got to hit the correct side. And while I'm remembering things from previous snapshots, it is actually now possible to go under a 1.5 block gap like this. If I stop shifting, my head gets stuck in the block, which is not too good. So let's press F3 and B. This brings up the hitboxes, and you can see when you shift, it now changes, and it goes low enough for you to creep under a 1.5 block gap. So here I am about to record another clip, and then these spawn literally right where I'm standing, peeps. And also look, the llamas are leashed to the wandering trader. That's kind of cool. Okay then, let's talk about the changes to raids. So waves are now dependent on the difficulty that you're playing in. If you're in easy, there's going to be 3 waves. If you're on normal, there will be 5. And in hard mode, it is going to be 7 in total. And in the log, it says that the waves themselves have been rebalanced, so they won't be the same as the ones you've seen before. For example, evokers can now turn up in the last 3 waves. So if you're playing in normal difficulty, you can see the evoker on the 5th wave, and if you're playing on hard, they can turn up in 6 and in 7 as well. Now, if you get the bad omen effect, you will actually add an additional wave, whatever difficulty you're playing on. So in easy, you could see a 4th level, in normal, a 6th, and an 8th if you're in hard difficulty. The bad omen also has a new texture. I don't know if that's from this snapshot, but I've got to say, that looks seriously cool. So the bad omen effect can stack up to 5 levels. You kill one of the pillager leaders with the banner on top to get the bad omen effect, and if you've already got it, then it will simply go up to the next level when you kill another one. So the maximum level you can have is 5, and after the first level, which adds the additional waves, there will then be increased chances of the mobs summoned in for the waves having enchanted weapons. The bad omen effect also applies in multiplayer. If 3 players all have bad omen and they all go to the village together and start the raid, then that will count as bad omen level 3. So it will add an additional wave, and then there's the possibility of getting enchanted weapons. Now, if a player was to turn up with bad omen in the middle of a raid, I don't know if it would work or not. Unfortunately, that's something I don't have the time to test. As mentioned in the beginning of the video, there is now a new status effect. This is called Hero of the Village, and you get it after you successfully complete a raid. Now, its level is dependent on the bad omen level. So if you start off with 5, you'll get 5. If you went in there with level 1, that's what you get in return. I've given myself this effect, and it said that it will give you discounts within the village. So that's something that we're going to check out later on, and there you can see the icon as well. Now there have also been some changes to the AI of villagers. It said that they're now able to open doors, and that includes the Vindicator, who can also chop them down with the axe. And this is because of their AI, which apparently now sends them door to door during the raid. So they will actually try and go into the buildings. So what I'm going to do now is just start a raid, observe what's happening, and then report back after I'm done and tell you how I think the changes are. So first of all, the villagers have a crazy reaction when the raid starts. They all run around like headless chickens. Straight away I got to see some of the enchanted weapons, because we were doing this with Bad Omen level 5, and you can see they have really bad aim and they tend to shoot each other. They also managed to kill a couple of villagers, and this actually ended the raid in defeat, as you see up the top. So if you let a couple of villagers die, then the raid is going to be over. The villagers will ring the bell over and over again with the beginning of each wave of the raid. And here you can see the villagers going in and out of the doors over and over again. It's unsurprisingly rather quirky. I also caught this witch throwing a speed potion at the other mobs, so she will throw positive potions to the villagers. And when you successfully beat all of the raids, there is a celebration in town. The villagers, they will start setting off fireworks everywhere. It's really cool. You can see them appearing right next to where the villagers are standing. And then after the celebrations are over, you get the Hero of the Village status effect. So I have just learned that at some point they dulled the colours that you put on the signs, which I think is a real nice change. This used to be the brightest of yellows or the brightest of whites you could put onto a sign. It's nice to see that change. But this is the amount of mobs I've pretty much got for each wave. And notice how there isn't an 8th wave. I don't know why I didn't get one, but 7 waves was all I got with level 5 Bad Omen. So in the first one we had 4 villagers, then 7, then 5 with a witch and a beast, then 6 villagers and 4 witches, 10 villagers with a witch and an evoker, and then 10 villagers with a witch and evoker again, except the evoker was moving extremely fast, like really fast. It was very nippy. And last of all, we had 10 villagers, 2 witches, 3 evokers, and 2 beasts. So I have 2 more comments to make about the raids. Where the villagers form, you will hear a sound in the distance. It is this sound. And it comes from where the villagers spawn. So it gives you an idea of what direction to look in based on the 3D sound. The other thing I want to comment on is that the villagers tend to get fixated on going into a building, and once they've picked one and they start going in and out of the door, they tend to just circle the same building over and over again. Okay, so the Hero of the Village effect kind of works just like you might suspect. Without it, you don't get a discount. With it, you do, and the higher the level, the more the discount goes. So I'm just going up one at a time, and you can see the price goes down. Let's send it up another level, and yeah, it's gone down again. I'm also going to give myself the highest level possible and see what happens. 1. Wow. Probably, yeah, that probably works for every villager, right? It just brings the trade all the way down to 1 because it's so high. Yep, look at that. 1 for each. Obviously, you can't obtain that in survival, though. 2 more things to mention about the villagers. You can trade with them during the raids now, and it's also stated that villager breeding should be back in the game. So I've downloaded Nembom's villager breeder, but it looks like this might not be the design to use to investigate this, and I don't understand what the new mechanics are for breeding as well. So if you watch someone like Ilmango, I'm sure he's going to have you covered with the information on that one, but it could be in this snapshot that we'll be able to have baby villagers again. There is also a bug fix related to baby villagers that they will take on the skins of the biome type that they're in. And there you go, wow. Straight away, yeah, that's really awesome. Okay, so baby villagers now have the skins of the biome that they're in. I've also read that the little villagers... Oh, there we go, there it is, excellent. Finally, they started doing it. Well, there you go. I read it, and we've just seen it. They throw poppies at you, and they do this when you have the Hero of the Village effect. So at the beginning of this video I mentioned there was a Snapshot 19w13a, and in that one mobs were able to spawn on glass and on leaf blocks, and this is due to changes with the transparent blocks. Now as you can see it's nighttime and I've got night vision, and mobs are able to spawn, but they're not spawning on these blocks. So things have been reverted to normal. However, the changes to transparent blocks are staying, and I can't remember the specifics of what thing you could place on what block, but you can see here clearly that changes have been made and more things are possible. You can put redstone torches on the tops and the side of these blocks, but not ones like cauldrons. However, it does allow you to place repeaters and pressure plates on top, and what's happening there is the pressure plate is actually just powering the repeater. So redstone works on it. You can have buttons on top of here. Now if we go over to this bit, you'll see it doesn't actually power the block though. So I'm standing on the pressure plate, with exception to the slime block. That's the one out of these that actually gets powered. There may be other changes to those transparent blocks that I haven't noticed, but moving on, there's a new button on the main menu. It looks kind of mysterious, but actually all it is the accessibility settings, and it says that it's made some improvements to the narration of this as well. So that's about everything for this snapshot video, and before you go away, make sure you're subscribed if you want to catch the future snapshot videos, and of course hit that like button if you want to support the video. As always, thank you for doing that. By the way, I'm going to be live on twitch.tv/xisumavoid when you are first hearing this. If you're watching it in the future, I might not be, but you can head over there and I'll be live streaming after this video goes live. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.